Hello and welcome back to the Mayor's Update. We're broadcasting live from two fabulous cities today. One is Chicago, you can see it behind me, and the other, you know it well, it's St. Thomas.
St. Thomas, all right. I'm the one in St. Thomas tonight, and we'll see how we'll get this done. This is a pretty exciting week with Grayden away, and then next week I'm away, and we have convinced Councillor Clark to be the fill-in host.
It's going to be amazing.
Of Mayor's Update next week. But I'm in Washington over next weekend and early next week, and Grayden's in Chicago this week. We're again testing out the internet capabilities of us both being somewhere far away. Right?
Yeah, and it seems to be working so far. We've already got several viewers online here on YouTube and Facebook. So hello, everybody, and welcome to the show.
Hey, great. And you flew out Monday.
I did.
To go to Chicago.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah,
and
right. So I landed, and there was a plane on fire on the runway. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
No, but I saw a picture of somebody else who took that picture at O'Hare, and it was like a test of the emergency system. It wasn't a real airplane on fire, but for everybody landing, nobody said, "Hey, don't look to the left." Right?
They didn't.
It was really a test of the firefighters and stuff, right?
They did not come on and say it was a test at all. So we're flying in, and all we see is this billowing black smoke from the airport right beside the runway that we're landing on. And I'm just like, look at the window. I grab my camera, I start filming. I'm just like, I don't know if this is like, will I ever be able to share this? Or is this a horrific accident that's happened? But no, it was all right.
It was a training exercise. My understanding is yes.
Yeah.
But a little warning, folks. Right?
Yeah. Right.
We've had an exciting past week here in St. Thomas. So much stuff going on, but we had Stephanie and I got married on Friday, and Grayden, I know you were there, and many of our friends. Right.
So good.
It was a really good time. And, Stephanie and I have only been working on this for 6 years or so to get this to happen. So it worked out well. She could not have been more beautiful.
No.
It went really well. And we had a great deal of our friends. And it was the kind of wedding that was kind of a party and kind of a celebration and kind of a get together, and of course a lot of my family and other friends from here in St. Thomas. But it even turned into karaoke afterwards. The after wedding party turned into going out for karaoke. And of course, for those of you that know Stephanie, knows how well she sings.
Incredibly talented.
I can go with Stephanie any day to karaoke because I don't ever have to sing. I'm the backup singer that really just mouths the words. So it was an incredible day from morning till night, and it really has been a good week following too. So we can't ask for more here in St. Thomas than putting all our friends together. I have a wedding cookie because there was a few left over, and they made it here to City Hall, and I've been handing them out. But one of them was dinner tonight, it seems.
And, so yeah, I mean the desserts you had from Ruby Blues, which are just like out of this world phenomenal.
Oh, I could not. All of the vendors at the event, the Streetery and From the Vines and Ruby Blues, three of my favorites, and so it was great to have their foods there too. But just did really neat eclectic stuff and walk around food rather than there any sort of sit down meal. And so it was great. Adam, you are absolutely right. Ruby Blues was incredible. Chris says, great party. Yes, it was. And at the upper deck afterwards doing karaoke. Yes.
And Chris was out there. He was having a blast with James, his wife. And actually I got a ride home with them. We got the cab home and shared it to their place and out to mine.
James did so much help on the day of the wedding at the venue and stuff. And so, good friends are what make some of this stuff work. So we also, now that we're done that, but we're heading off to Washington, and I've been, pretty warned that we can't call this a holiday or a honeymoon.
Oh, no.
It is just it's just a Wendy's convention that we're going to. And 45 years I've been with the Wendy's company, and so I try to make conventions on some of the more important anniversaries. So Marcy and Stephanie and I are heading out Saturday to Washington,
Mhm.
and won't come back till late Wednesday night. So when I get home, I'll have to watch how Mayor's Update went next week. It will still be on time. I know that Gary's planning all sorts of super guests so that Mayor's Update by Gary Clark will look fantastic too.
I have no doubt. No, I heard you were at the Pfeffer Derby today as well.
I was. Now, for those that don't know, that was it's like it's like um, a, a, a derby of you make these cars that go down this ramp, and the ones that make the best cars end up winning.
Mhm.
But it was the Railway Museum was absolutely packed with different teams from the, the around St. Thomas and the area,
Mhm.
and I was there to hand out trophies and medallions afterwards. It was really quite an exciting day, and again, probably 150 competitors. So it was, the fun kind of day that the mayor likes to have rather than the meetings and such. So I really did have a pretty good day today, followed by having to be Santa Claus.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, I had we're trying to help the Chamber of Commerce
Mhm.
do a thing called some of your favorite things or a few of your favorite things, or it's a Christmas about local things made here in St. Thomas or sold here in St. Thomas. So somebody had the great idea that I would dress as Santa and Paul Jenkins, the chair of the Chamber of Commerce, would be Scrooge, and we'd go take some pictures on Main Street um, as kind of the cover or the outlook of what this looks like.
Mm.
Many businesses will be inside this magazine, and it'll be a great thing to use to do your shopping and looking forward. But Santa was walking on Talbot Street today, and it hadn't been my intent to walk from City Hall down to where we took the pictures, but they called me and said, "We're already here." And I said, "Okay, I'll do it." But um, I see Deb saying she did see Santa Claus today. And I certainly was asking anybody who was near me, have you been naughty or nice? And trying to get some sort of ranking system for St. Thomas. But we I ran into two or three young children today,
Mhm.
and it's funny when Santa's walking down Talbot Street in St. Thomas on a Wednesday afternoon, and so it was. I'm just here early, checking out who needs what for Christmas, and we did get our way through the children part today. Right?
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, some people, it really helps them believe when they see Santa out and about in September.
Yeah,
And
well, and you know what? It's almost getting to be expected that the mayor of this community will do things like be in his Santa suit in the downtown in September.
mhm.
So we have a lot of fun being who we are. And if it helps the Chamber of Commerce and a number of other businesses do a greater job of Christmas this year, showing what their treats are,
Mhm.
then I'll be happy to put on my Santa suit and go do it. I will tell you, my office looks like a Santa exploded in it.
Yeah.
I have to put all this Santa suit back together so it can get to the cleaners in order to be back in time for Christmas. But we'll make sure all that happens tomorrow.
And Deb Longe says she saw Santa Claus downtown today.
Yeah, yeah.
And Adam's
I believe if she may have been one of the ones I accused of being naughty, but I'm not sure.
uh, and Adam's saying in regards to the Wendy's convention, he's like, just a Wendy's convention. Wendy's has been great since the 90s, and somehow it always finds a way to get better.
Well, I joined Wendy's in 1978. So 45 years ago,
Wow.
we uh, we became the franchisee here in St. Thomas in 1990. So
Mhm.
some 33 years of operating the business here in St. Thomas, but the Wendy's Corporation 45 years. So we thought
Wow.
we should attend the convention this year and celebrate a little. We've been doing quite well, and we wanted to reward ourselves for the efforts we're putting in. So. But as had been made it very clear to Stephanie, this is neither honeymoon nor holiday.
Mhm.
This is just something fun we're going to do this weekend because we've got a pretty good honeymoon planned later on.
Right on. And I found that clip of that plane burning, so I'm just going to share that for everybody here. This is what I flew into. Into Chicago. But at this point, I realized that doesn't look like a real plane, and so it's going to be okay.
Well, it's good that they test the things they're talking about, right?
Right? Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Now, speaking of kids in our community, there are a lot of kids that are out at a very special hockey game today.
Yes. Today is Craft Hockeyville for West Elgin, for West Lorne. They really pushed the need to repair their arena and were able to win Craft Hockeyville. And that was in the fall or in the early spring, sorry. And won all sorts of things like $250,000 to repair their arena and make it better. Just $10,000 worth of hockey equipment to go to kids who need it. But St. Thomas, they asked St. Thomas, could we use your arena to host this event? And we said yes, as long as you take it all, please. We want the tickets to go to everybody in West Lorne and Dutton Dunwich, out your way. We want it to be your event. And so even though it's happening right now, you can see the mayor's here on Mayor's Update, because we want the event that's happening at the Joe Thornton Center to be St. Thomas saying thank you to a neighbor and way to go, neighbor, for winning a contest like Craft Hockeyville. And please, you have fun. And every child who played minor hockey in West Elgin and Dutton Dunwich got tickets to this game tonight. I was at the our police department this morning just before 8:00 for a meeting, and of course the arena is right next to it. And there must have been 2,000 kids all there waiting for the Leafs and the Sabres to show up on their buses, and the noise they were making. And it was just, look, this is us being good neighbors, and thank you for doing it. It's the right thing to do. And I'm glad they're having a really good time, but I'm sure, I'm willing to bet some of the restaurants in St. Thomas made a little business before the event tonight. We'll make a little after. But these are what neighbors do with each other and help each other out. So thank you to West Lorne for thinking, you know what, we could host this event in St. Thomas and it'll work really well. And it's happening as we speak. You can watch the rest of Mayor's Update, and then the hockey game will be on TV. So don't leave early.
No, it's incredible. And another event that we had on the weekend was the Railway City Road Races. And it was for the Big Brothers, Big Sisters to fundraise for them. And Steelway was a big sponsor. I believe you were sponsoring as well, and several other people from the community. And it's just a fantastic event. Almost 700 people came out to run.
Agreed. And I know I saw you there and you saw me there, but Grayden was there with his drone and all of his camera equipment. I simply had to, say some kind words about Big Brothers, Big Sisters and the Rail City Road Races. But we had some work to do. We had a finish line that was an inflatable that wanted to blow down more than once. And
oh my goodness,
we ended up holding onto ropes and pounding stakes into the ground. And
that was we've got some. I have the pictures actually on a hard drive, so we're going to keep talking, and I have some pictures of you actually pulling these ropes.
Right. Well, there was a full marathon, a half marathon, the 10K and the 5K. Right.
Would you call it a marathon for that part?
Never thought of that. Going to do that. And so different starting times for each of these group, and we kind of do a bit of a ceremonial start with whoever the sponsor was of each race and move forward. And it was just a touch windy, and I will say it was fairly early Sunday morning, right? And so we were all just, wow, look at that. That's blowing over. I guess we better fix that. Right? It was really true St. Thomas. And it's fun to sit there at the start finish line and see all the people who you do know who are out running. And we're just talking today with Dan Reith and Brian ran their first 5K and way to go. right?
Pictures of them coming across the finish line.
Yeah.
And Jeff Urick was out
so
there
many
too.
other friends, either at the starting line or I did not get to see the finish line of many. But by the time we did all the starts to all the races, and I thought I should take some breakfast home to Stephanie, and I went home, and of course, the Whistle Stop Trail runs right beside my apartment, so I had to stand out there and wave to some of the runners there as they were kind of half finishing whatever segment of the race they were working on. So it was more fun, and again, a great event for St. Thomas. This was, I think, the 7th annual, but I'm guessing with that, but it's a lot of times we've held the Rail City road races, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and we'll continue to find better ways to do it.
Absolutely. I'm scrolling through about 7,000, 8,000 pictures here. I took a lot of pictures. People are like, when are they all going to get done? Because I put up a teaser package before I left on Sunday. And, for anyone who's watching, who's asking that, it's going to be up on Saturday.
Needless to say, we've been going through a number of wedding pictures over the last few days, and it's not the first time through. It's not picking the favorite ones, but it's, wow, look at that one. Wow, look at that one. Sooner or later, we're going to have to sit down and say, well, okay, but what do you want? I like this one best. What are you going to do with this one? And of course, some great pictures of family and friends collectively. So you're right. When you just keep putting them all on a hard drive, it's a lot easier today than it was in past days to put pictures together all in one place and then kind of scroll through. Which one of the 5 that look the same do you like the best? Right.
Well, that's, it's because you put on a fast shutter speed and you're just rolling through, right?
Yep.
That's crazy. All right, I'm going to see if I can add in this about the photo here, and the next thing is to add it in.
See, technology, folks. From Chicago, we're seeing the road races in St. Thomas last Sunday. And way to go. Excellent.
And what's happening at council right now while I'm loading these up?
Well, this is the last week there was not a council meeting, right? Mm-hmm. And the agenda just came out today for the first meeting in October. And again, we've given Councillor Clark the deputy or the acting mayor role for council come this Monday coming night. And I have not looked at the agendas yet because I thought I would look at them before I tuned in Monday, right? Adam has a very good point. Okay. You make sure you get Chicago deep dish pizza while you're there.
I am absolutely.
And there is arguments over who is the best Chicago deep dish pizza. And I have on other visits to Chicago tried to figure that out by having more than one pizza to figure it out. But well, here's the start finish line laying on its side on Sunday. I did suggest it could just be a hurdle for all those starting the race. Most of the racers did not think that was funny, but the mayor did. So he liked it. Right? There was a joke about fallen arches because it's an arch and it fell over. Okay, Deb's asking me, do I have an update on the street lighting outage on Dunwich? And this was an email that came to me, and we passed it on to customer service, and we're really looking at a contractor has cut a line, and we thought Friday there would be a solution because we thought we could find where the issue was. By your message, Deb, I'm suggesting that you have not. Let me check again tomorrow morning on a date for it to be finished. My understanding is it should be fixed by now, but it's a tough find as to where the cut in the line is and what has to happen to make it work. One of the suggestions somebody made the other night, and I will back this up, I think it's the right thing to do. It's very dark in the neighborhood because the street lights are out. So if we could, by asking for it here on Mayor's Update and perhaps also on Facebook, let's talk about everybody leaving their porch lights on for the period of time that the lights aren't working, to give some light in the neighborhood. It's exceptionally dark, and we don't want it to be unsafe. So let me find out for sure on a completion date, but in the interim, let's ask the neighbors to please turn on their outside lights to make the neighborhood have some safety lights on.
Mm,
Deb, thank you for reminding me of that. I will follow up on that first thing tomorrow morning.
very good. All right. And then what do we have coming up? I think we have Bridges.
Bridges to Better Business is coming up a week Thursday. And so you get a chance to talk about it again next week, but I don't. And so we need to ensure that those that can attend, if you do not know what Bridges to Better Business is, it's a event put on by our Economic Development Corporation and Small Business Enterprise Center, where there are some awards, of course, for best new business, best small business, those types of things. So please come honor the people in town. But I think now we're well over 20 small business restaurants or food service people who will be serving you local fare next Thursday night. So if there is still tickets available, grab them. It will be a fun evening, and I believe there's even a pretty good comic that is happening.
There is, absolutely. And he's running around St. Thomas. You might see him right now.
Yeah, he's been out visiting some local businesses. So I want to say his name is
James Cunningham, I believe.
Yeah, and we think he's pretty funny, but we'll judge that next Thursday night also. So that's the Bridges to Better Business event. It's taking place at the Elgin County Railway Museum, where all great events seem to be taking place, because I was there for the Pfeffer Derby today. All right. And
that's where you had your wedding?
Preston wedding on Friday, and it is very good. Hey, coming out soon, I think the new Beehive event. Right, here's the mayor lifting the world.
Right? Yeah, just holding it all together.
Yeah.
Now can you see?
And then we realized some of the air had leaked out, and that was part of the problem. We couldn't push it up, but oh, look, you need something done in this community, you call in the mayor, right?
Getting it done.
Yeah, and then right at the launch of the next race, 2 or 3 more of the ropes kind of pulled out of the ground. So I'm standing there trying to hold the coffee, which I really needed a lot on Sunday morning, and a rope so that the arch doesn't blow over the other way again. Right. So we had an adventurous Sunday morning.
It was quite epic, and then it was all done by 11.
Yes.
It was incredible.
Just done one after the other. Let's launch this race. You're going marathon, and there's yours. You're going half marathon. You're going 10K, and you're going 5K. It was perfect.
Adam, it was actually Adam's saying gonna have to put a rope around it and maybe some stones to keep it from blowing. It was actually staked in,
right?
Stakes, multiple
and
stakes.
Tied to the fence. We did think next year we will pull 2 or 3 cars closer, because much like hot air balloons, a car will anchor it pretty well. So we think, okay, you're going to make it a fun obstacle course, Adam's saying, put the rope in front of the finish line so you trips.
Oh no! You see some of the people coming across. It's
work. I know he's just kidding, but so the Beehive should be out
It's out.
It's out. Sarah is hosting it again, not Mike this week. I don't know. My vote is with Mike for the artist of the year on doing the Beehive. But if you're not following the Beehive reports, they're what's this Mike call them? A little bit of news about a mega project.
Mini update on a mega site.
Right. And so we tell a different story about what's happening out at the industrial park and the proposed Volkswagen PowerCo factory, about how we're getting there and how fast we're moving on some of it. So please look up on our Economic Development Corporation or through the Small Business Enterprise Center. That'll get you the link, and they want as many people to see this every week as possible. So let's get as many people to sign up and see that as possible. And I know we've put the link on here sometime before, and so please, if you want to look that up, it's a great way of hearing some of the great new things happening in our community. Also ongoing still is we're in the middle the beginning of the middle, the start of the middle of the strategic planning process for our community. And we need as many people to attend some of those workshops. And there's been some virtual ones. There's been some auditorium type things. Please bring your thoughts of what you want St. Thomas to have or to look at in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. We're growing fast as a community. This council needs some help from our citizenry as to what will our city be? What will it look like? What other features should it have? How do we grow properly as we grow as fast as we currently are? And in that vein, I see Dale's asked us what's going on at Talbot and Burwell. Beside the ADD warehouse building there, ADD has been doing some work for Prestran, and they're expanding their warehouse so they can do more work for Prestran. So it is a combination of ADD warehouse and some more employment from Prestran Industries here in St. Thomas. So that's what's happening at the corner of Talbot and Burwell, and they're moving pretty quick too. They've stripped the grass and fence up and moving forward. Adam's right. He said, I'd love to see some more hands-on entertainment. We've been trying to push agreed. And in the last couple of years, more festivals and more things that involve entertainment in our community. Another one coming up is on April 14th, and that's the reopening of the downtown. We want to really showcase that the downtown construction will be substantially finished by October 14th with an event, Oktoberfest. And we're going to, it seems a bit funny, we're going to celebrate the opening of Talbot Street by closing Talbot Street and having Oktoberfest, but we want people to come down and see the merchants and the type of work that was done on Talbot Street. So that's Saturday, October 14th from 1 till 8 downtown. There'll be Papa bands and pretzels and lots of dancing and German fare. So please come see what the new downtown looks like too.
Do we have an estimate on when it's going to be complete?
I think substantially complete, certainly by that day. But even as we were down taking some pictures today of downtown, on the other end that is done, some street lights aren't up yet. And, the contractor is kind of waiting for the rest of the street to finish and have cars back on it, and then kind of come down and put in the rest of the benches and the planters and the like. And I think that's likely what we'll see is substantially complete by the time we celebrate, but by the end of October, 1st of November, all of the work done, except for what can't be done till next spring when the planters are filled and that type of.
So you'll be able to drive up and down it by.
Yeah, October cars 14th. Will be on it by the time we get to the Oktoberfest weekend.
Very good. That's super exciting.
Yeah.
And what other people have been asking as well, like the next phase of that construction, the construction of Talbot, when's that happening?
A number of years. This brought us all the way from the west end through to past Ross Street. The piece past Ross Street had been done reasonably recently, so there's no need to hurry for underground. So we've got lots of other capital projects to look at in the next few years. You won't see a closing of Talbot Street. I would think in any time before 5 to 10 years. So let's celebrate the streets open. It's really beautiful in the new areas and carries on and is starting to see a lot more growth in business too. So we'll take that.
Oh, absolutely. And that's our time for this evening.
Wow. This goes too fast.
I know. It's just bing, bang, boom.
Well, I miss you all. I'll be away for next week. I know Grayden will do a great job of making sure Councillor Clark says nice things about me.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. And then we will be back. I'll be back the following week. But leave your questions here. If we haven't answered your questions, leave them here. And Deb will find out about the street lights for you.
Very good. All right. Thanks again, Mayor Joe. Thanks to all our viewers, sponsors, everybody. We'll see you next week, 6:30.